BJ, very basic Bible. Trying to still figure out. I notice if I go through something once and then I go through it again, usually learn it better. Okay, so we're going to look at the feasts of the Old Testament. What time did they happen? You know, which feast was which? Feast of Weeks, Feast of Booths. Does it start on the 14th day, the 10th day? Do you wait for so many days? When did all this stuff happen? What about the Feast of Trumpets? Is that one even a feast? You know, there's a later feast in the book of Esther, but we're thinking, okay, I'm going to make notes here, right here. Feast notes. There we go. All right. Share that screen. Buddy. Okay. Let's type in feast. So not this feast, not these in Genesis. We could go through and look and take forever, but these aren't the feasts we're looking for. Okay. Let's go down. Exodus 5. Let my people go. Moses. Exodus 5:1. Afterward, Moses and Aaron came and said to Pharaoh. What did Moses and Aaron say to Pharaoh? This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go so they may celebrate a feast to me in the wilderness. God wants them to go to celebrate a feast. Why not? You know, God likes feasts. You look up here. Laban gathered all the people of the place and held a feast. Laban held a feast. Okay. He strongly urged them. They turned aside, prepared a feast. But those weren't the multiple day, huge God ordained feasts. Those were just people having feasts. Okay. So what are the 3 God ordained feasts? I say 3. There might be more. Oh, hey, Exodus 5, Exodus 10:9. Moses said, we shall go. What did he say? We shall go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, with our flocks and our herds. We shall go, for we must hold a feast to the Lord. Wants to hold him a feast. Okay. They're talking to Pharaoh, right? Moses is like, hey, I know we're slaves. God wants us to have a feast, though, in the wilderness. Okay. Feast of Unleavened Bread. There's at least one feast, okay? Now, this day shall be a memorial to you, and you shall celebrate it as a feast to the Lord. A memorial, what's that mean? Throughout your generations. That means your kid and your kids and their kids and their kids. You're to celebrate the feast as a permanent ordinance. Permanent ordinance. Permanent. Here, Exodus 12. I wonder what ordinance means. But we're trying to figure out the timing of the feast, so I don't want to look at this too long. Exodus, exit, ex, out of. You're leaving. Go, get, scat, leave. You know. Oh, if I say all that stuff, my cat might think I'm talking to him. Hey, kitty. No, he looks fine. What was it? 12:14. Let's go look down and see what. I'm just curious. What's ordinance? This day, the NET. This day will become a memorial for you, a memorial in ABRE. This day will be a day of remembrance for you, which your future generations will celebrate. So memorial, remembrance. Let's commemorate. This day is to be a memorial. This is a day to remember. Okay. But what is ordinance, I wonder? Shall celebrate it throughout your generations. You are to celebrate it as a permanent ordinance. Don't not celebrate it. Let your son celebrate throughout your generations as a statute forever. As a permanent, as a statute, you shall keep it as a feast. A little backwards. Let's see. You are to celebrate it You shall keep it as a feast. You sell it right here. Celebrate it right here. Keep it as a feast. So a little bit of cross translation study from the NASB to the ESV. Why the Bible verses different. This day. They leave off now. Now this day shall be a memorial to you. This day shall be for you a memorial day. So here for you, and here it shall be a memorial. No, you got day twice, day once. Now this day shall be a memorial to you. This day shall be for you a memorial day. Why do they change it? I don't know. I guess the smart people who translate the Hebrew, the ancient languages, they know what they're doing. Look at this one. This day will become a memorial for you. So not a memorial yet. This day will be a day of remembrance for you. To you. For you is here. For you, a memorial day. And the ESV, for you, a memorial day. The NABRE, a day of remembrance for you. For you, a remembrance day. A day of memorial for you. See, like, you're like, why do they do that? I'm not sure, but you can see how I'm not sure. When translating from one language to another, that's just what happens. My wife does American Sign Language, and she sometimes goes, I'm not sure how to say that one, and then she says it. And then she comes and goes, BJ, you know that phrase I wasn't sure how to say with sign language? I go, yeah. She goes, I saw another sign language, and they did it this way. I'm like, so there are more than one way? She's like, yeah. Okay. That's American Sign Language, right? I learned Spanish. Barely any. I don't remember hardly any. Agua means water. Is there different ways from English to Spanish? I'm not sure, but evidently there is from Hebrew to English, because you got all these different ways you can translate it. It's not people going like, I'll decide to put my own translation. I don't like shall be a memorial to you. I like a memorial for you. I'll say for you, but even though it's to you, I'll say for you. But no, that's not what they're doing. They're not trying to trick any. No, that's just, the more right over here, thought for thought translations, they will change the wording a little bit. They try to be less specifically exactly by the words, exactly by the exact grammar and syntax of the Hebrew. How do you get that into English? You look at these three right here. What if you kind of tried to get the gist of it, the thought of it? What if putting it grammatically didn't make sense in English? So you try to change. That's what you get over here. This is a day to remember. So instead of a day of remembrance or a memorial day, a day to remember. Okay. Take this day to remember, or don't forget this day. This is a day to remember. Each year, from generation to generation, you must celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all time, forever, last perpetually as a lasting ordinance, law for all time. All right. Ordinance. Over here, they don't have ordinance in the ESV. You shall keep it as a feast. Okay. You shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations, as a statute forever. You shall keep it as a feast. The Inet says ordinance. What's the NABRE? You will celebrate it as a statute forever. Oh, hey, statute. Throughout your generations, as a statute forever, you shall keep as a feast. Throughout your generations, you are to celebrate it as a permanent ordinance. You are to celebrate it throughout your generations as a permanent statute. Okay, statute. But we're more worried about the timing rather than the exact nature of a feast, okay? Maybe we'll look at that at another time. But right now, very basic Bible. Try to get the Bible timeline. So in the New Testament, when they talked about the Passover this and the Feast of Booths that, and Jesus is like, they say something like it was 12 days until the Feast of this, that, or the other. You're like, wait, when is that? Help keep our bearings, help keep our feet planted on the ground a little bit. Okay. Right up here, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, this month will stand at the head of your calendar. NIV, this month is to be the first month. All right. I'm going to go kind of quick because I've looked at this in multiple other. If you go to Leavened, number 1 and 2, especially, and if you go to when is the feast 2, you'll see I've already went through all this. Tell the whole community of Israel on the 10th of this month, every family must procure for itself a lamb. So first month, `10th of month, grab a lamb, sheep or goat, baby sheep or goat. Okay. On the 10th of this month, if household is too small for a lamb, it, along with its nearest neighbor, will procure one. In a portion, the lamb's cost in proportion to the number of persons, according to what each household consumes. If your household's too small, you got a small household and a big old baby lamb, go find another household. Because you want to eat all of it overnight. It says if none of it's eaten overnight, you'll burn it. Okay, lamb must be a year old without blemish, may take it from other sheep or goats. You will keep it until the 14th day of this month. Then, with the whole community of Israel assembled, it will be slaughtered during the evening twilight. Each house, okay, they're going to slaughter their lamb the 14th day of the month. First month. This month, grab a lamb. 14th of the month, slaughter the lamb. Okay, so you got the first month. That's like 2 weeks into the month, right? Yeah, because it's still 7 days. Work for 6 days, rest for 7. There you go. They still got the 7. Yeah. They will take some of its blood, apply it to the doorpost. They will consume its meat the same night, all of it, eating it roasted with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or even boiling water, but roasted, all of it. Head, shanks, inner organs, yum. You must not keep any of it beyond the morning. Whatever is left over in the morning must be burned up. That's why God's like, hey, get the household together so you can eat the whole thing. This is how you are to eat it, with your loins girt, over here, with your belt fastened. This is how you eat it, dressed for travel, your sandals on your feet. Okay. Oh, here you go. Your cloak tucked into your belt. Okay. With your loins girt, your loins, your legs, tuck your belt into your, make sure you're covered up. Don't be walking around in your jammies or your underwear or your skivvies, Sandals on your feet and your staff in your hand. You will eat it in a hurry. It is the Lord's Passover. Okay, I'm going to call this Passover because that is a feast. They call it a feast. They say, hey, let's celebrate the Fastover. The Fastover, you got to eat the Fastover fast. Got to eat the Passover fast. Because in the New Testament, Passover, Old Testament. Let's look down here in the New Testament. Yeah, BibleGateway.com. Oh, here we got thebible.org/GT/index. I'm not sure what GT or index, but that's how you get here. Okay. BibleGateway.com. I mean, BibleGateway.com. BibleGateway.com. I guess it's a gateway to the Bible. All right. Passover lamb. Exodus 12. That's what we're reading. Yeah. Okay, we want to go to Matthew. Let's see. You know that after 2 days, the Passover is coming. And the Passover. The Passover. And look right here. The Passover. And look, I am keeping the Passover. prepared the Passover. Okay. I mean, they call the last Passover. Now at they even when they add it, see how it's in italics? When it's in italics, that means they add a word for clarity. So Matthew 27:15, they obviously are talking about the Passover. So the translators are like, hey, to make the English easier to read. 1 second, guys. Give me your phone ringing. Hey, I'm back. Got my church phone. I work in my church as a janitor. The guy who worked before me got his same phone number now. Okay, got my work phone number. My church work phone number. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay. So golly. Sorry. So the guy whose phone number I have now, my church phone, he lives in a house right next door to the church. He's called the church porter. People call him multiple times. They call me. They call his number multiple times a day. Hello, are you the homeowner? I'm like, no, I don't live there. I get so many calls a day. People calling wanting him to refinance his home. It's the church's home. It's not there's another guy who lives there now. It's not his home either. It's the church's home. So, it's kind of funny. Okay. So the Passover. So in the New Testament, they're going to do Passover stuff. Let's see. Now the Passover and unleavened bread. And look at this, the festival of unleavened bread. So now we got two feasts. New Testament festival of unleavened bread. On the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb was being sacrificed. Okay. New Testament. Passover. Festival of unleavened bread. Passover. Festival of unleavened bread. In Mark, Passover, what's it say? On the first day of unleavened bread. Passover seems to be the first day of the festival of unleavened bread. Mark 14:12. There we go. Death, plot, and anointing, because just after or during the Passover, even Jesus dies. They kill him. And this is a dagger. This is me killing somebody, I guess. Where's my guest room, which I may eat the Passover? Okay. They prepared the Passover because remember, no leaven. Did I read that part? No leaven. They needed herbs. Did I read that part? They had to get the lamb. Remember we talked about the lamb, the baby sheep or goat. Okay. Oh, 15:6. Now at the Passover, he, that is Pilate, used to release for them any prisoner whom they requested. Pilate wants to release Jesus. He thinks Jesus is innocent. Evidently, in the book of Matthew, it tells us that Pilate's wife had a dream, and Pilate was like, whoa, can't be crucifying this guy. Also Pilate's trying to keep a riot from starting. Pilate, not a pilot, airplane pilot. Pilate. He's the governor. He was put in charge of Jerusalem at that time. He's like, okay, I don't want crazy stuff to happen. I think Jesus, I don't want to get rid of Jesus. He ends up, being responsible for Jesus dying anyway. Luke, let's look at it. That was quick, wasn't it, about Pilate? Visit Jerusalem. His parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. Luke 2, that's whenever Jesus was like 12 years old. They go one year. They spend a few days. When they leave, about a day and a half after they leave, Mary and Joseph start looking around. Jesus is only 12. They're looking around. Where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? No. You ever been somewhere and your parents forgot to pick you up from school? You ever been like somewhere and like at school maybe and the bus left and you come out and you go, hey guys, where you ever okay. My parents left me at the mall one time. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like 9 or 10. I've always been super scared about like being lost. Like what if I can't get out, kind of thing. So I'm at the mall and I'm like, oh no, my parents have left. I'm not gonna be able to wait, I'm at a mall. It's a big place. I can walk. Oh, I'm sure there's a phone somewhere. So like one side of me is freaking out irrationally. Oh no, I'm at the mall. I'm never gonna get home. Oh no, nobody's gonna be able to get me home. And over here, I'm at a mall. Like this, so could call so many people. They came back and found me. Anyway, Jesus' parents left him at the Passover festival. Man, a day and a half later, our parents used to be like, so where you been all day? Oh, we've been, running around the city doing this, that, and the other. We'd leave at like 8 a.m, come back at like 9 o'clock at night. My parents were like, oh, okay, that's nice. They didn't know where we were, just, that's just the way it was, But then they found him. Jesus' parents found him. Okay, anyway, okay, here we go. Now the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover, was approaching. Luke. Oh. Let's do this. Mark. Luke. Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover. Luke 22. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called Passover. Now, the first day of unleavened bread came, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. The first day of unleavened bread, which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Where was it at? Passover in Mark. Let's see, 14:12. On the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb was being sacrificed. Mark 12. Luke 22:7. Now the first day of unleavened bread came, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. A little bigger. There we go. Pretty cool, huh? What if we make it one more bigger? Look at that. Man. Okay, to make it bigger, I hit plus. And then I'm control plus, control minus to make it smaller. Minus, plus, minus. Or on the mouse, I got a little wheel. I can go up and down. I hit control. I pull the wheel towards me, gets smaller. Push the wheel away from me, gets bigger. Yeah, buddy. All right, there we go. $14.12, the first day of unleavened bread. Okay, what did Matthew say? Passover. PSS. Now, one more for Bible Gateway, because we got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 4 biographies of Jesus. John, I've heard, is a little different. I've read it a lot, and I've tried to pay attention, but it's kind of difficult. Let's put these in order. So we got, okay, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Okay. Early in John, the Passover of the Jews was near, and Jesus went up to the temple. Now he was in Jerusalem at the Passover. Now, when he was in the Jerusalem at the Passover during the feast, many believed in his name as they observed his signs which he was doing. Okay, so this isn't when he was 12. This is when he's older. Okay, when he's older, did lots of signs People are believing in him like, oh, you are God incarnate. Oh, maybe you're the Messiah. Oh, maybe, hey, we believe that you are a great person who could do signs. Obviously that. Believing him, I put my faith and trust in you so as to be saved. It doesn't really tell us, does it? It just says people believed in him. They saw Jesus doing crazy, miraculous signs, and people are believing whatever, I believe you can do signs. I'll follow you because you're doing cool stuff. Lots of people did follow him to get healed of their sickness and such. And then in the Gospel of John, look at this, John 6:4. Now the Passover, the Feast of the Jews, was near. So this is 1 year. This Passover is probably the next year. You got one Passover each year. During this Passover in John 6, Jesus is like, follow me. And they're like, follow you? We just want bread, because he broke bread and gave it to him. Jesus is like, you just want bread? You don't really believe in me? Sure we do. Okay, if you believe in me, don't worry about bread. Just love God. And the people are like, give us a sign so we'll believe in you. He's like, you're not believing in me. Look. And he starts getting frustrated at this Passover. Another Passover. Now the Passover of the Jews was near. This is the Passover when Jesus would pass away, when Jesus would die. The third Passover. John 11. From John 11 all the way to the end of John, which is like 22 chapters, I think. All about Jesus' last week or so of life. Plus the 40 days after when he's resurrected, he makes some appearances. So it's the week when Jesus dies. That many chapters devoted to 1 week of Jesus' life. So, all right, the Passover. Now, before the feast of Passover, Jesus, knowing that his hour had come, that he would depart from this world to the Father. He's going to die that week. Okay. So we know the Passover is when Jesus dies. Oh, right here. Then they brought Jesus. So Jesus, there's Pilate. Remember a minute ago talking about Pilate? Pilate. That's the Judean governor for me. He stands alone all by himself. Pilate. Bible. It's a song. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Pilate. Then they brought Jesus from Caiaphas, as high priest, into the Praetorium. And it was early. They themselves did not enter the Praetorium. What's a Praetorium? Why didn't they want to enter it? They're bringing Jesus before Pilate. Okay. They brought Jesus from Caiaphas to the Praetorium. Okay. They themselves did not enter the Praetorium so that they would not be defiled, but might eat the Passover. If you're unclean, you can't eat the Passover. You touched a dead animal, you touched a dead body, you're unclean from a nightly emission. If you had sex recently, I believe that makes you unclean. Various things make you unclean. Okay, evidently, going into this Praetorium would make them unclean. Right? Let's see, Praetor. I'm not getting very far on when is the feast. We'll have to look at this later. Praetorium. Let's see, actually. Praetorium. Instead, Bible Gateway, as usual. As always, it's either this one or Bible Gateway. There's Blue Letter Bible, which is really good, but I seem to use these two the most. Praetorium. Praetorium is the way I've heard it always pronounced. Then the soldiers of the governor, that is Pilate, because Pilate was a military leader, took Jesus into the Praetorium and gathered the whole Roman cohort to him. So the Praetorium is a place where there are Romans and such, I guess. Okay. That's Matthew, Mark. Now the soldiers took him away into the palace, that is the Praetorium, and they called together the whole Roman cohort. Okay. Palace. What palace? Is it a good house? There's a bunch of Romans in there. Jews evidently were like, we don't want to go in that place with those Gentile Romans and be defiled. That's my guess. That's what I've always learned, you know. Evidently they think Jews are, some Jews, they didn't even want to go, like Samaria. You got Jerusalem and Judah in the south, Galilee in the north. So you got Israel and Israel. And in the middle, where my thumbs are, Samaria. They were like, Samaria people are unclean. So instead of walking from Jerusalem north to get back home in Galilee, they would walk around Samaria to get there because they were like, it makes us unclean. Come on, doesn't make you unclean. So many things talked about. They would wash pitchers and cups and couches. How in the world do they wash a couch? What the heck? Because, oh no, it might be unclean. Like, come on, you know. I heard the weirdest thing about a debate. If they had a clean vessel that's been ritually purified, this isn't clean as in like, oh no, it's dirty, let's clean to get the dirt off because, you know, it might be unhealthy to eat dirt. You're like, ooh, that's gross. You know, we need to scrub it with like soap. No. Purity clean, ritually clean, religiously clean. There's like dirt, snot, filth, trash, and garbage, and germs. Well, the same, but spiritual. There's like a spiritual not a spiritual equivalent. They didn't go, this is dirty, and there's a spiritual equivalent of dirty. They didn't look at it that way, but you can kind of think of it that way for us to understand it. You know, they touched a dead body. They didn't think, oh no, I'm unclean with germs. They thought, oh no, I'm ritually, religiously, spiritually unclean. Okay. So they don't want to go to this Roman cohort because those Gentiles, they're not Jewish. They're Gentiles. They're pagans. They're unclean. Where is it at? John. Then they, the high priest and people, brought him from Caiaphas into the Praetorium. It was early. They themselves did not enter the Praetorium, so they would not be defiled, but might eat the Passover. They want to eat the Passover. They don't want to get defiled. They don't want to walk into the Roman place and get dirty. That seems to be the mindset, you know. Did any of this come up in the Old Testament? Have we read, if you looked at all the leaven studies, I have leaven 1, leaven 2, leaven 3. I think I need to do a fourth one because I didn't get into the New Testament. If you watch the last video I had, when is a feast part 2, I think is what I'm going to call it. Or just with the number 2. Do you recall in any of the Passover stuff here in Exodus 12, avoid going into Gentiles? No, it doesn't talk about that at all. Nowhere does it talk about that, you know. It says that if you touch a dead animal, if you touch a dead relative, or like I said, nightly emissions, or if you have sex. I'm not sure what else, but I think those are the ones that I remember. Those are the ones I remember, but then they like change it to all sorts of stuff can make you unclean, including going into a palace where there are Romans, where there are pagans. It's like, just, holy man. Jesus said, you strain out a gnat, little bitty bug. You strain it out. You're like, let's make sure our water is clean, ritually clean. Oh, good, we got the gnat out. There's certain unclean animals. Pigs, a lot of people hear about. Lobster, a lot of people hear about. A lot of birds are unclean. A camel is unclean. Don't eat camels. Don't cook. Don't slaughter them, cook them and stuff and eat them. They're unclean. Jesus said, hey guys, you're trying to make your water clean. He's talking to the Pharisees. This is like Matthew chapter 23. He says, you're being so careful to make sure everything's ritually pure. Everything's just perfect. You're straining out a gnat. Oh, good, we got this gnat. But you swallowed a camel. He's being smart aleck, obviously. Jesus is. He's guys, you are being so meticulous that you're missing the bigger picture. You're like, we have to have everything perfect over here, but you're not loving people. Right here, kind of the same. Like, we hate this Jesus guy. We want him killed. Oh, but we can't go into Praetorium and be unclean. Oh, no. And God's like, dude, love people. Anyway, sorry. Sidetracked. Okay, Luke. Now the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover, was approaching. Did I already write that down for Luke? Luke 22? Yep. What about Matthew and John? Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Okay. Matthew, you know the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man is to be handed over for crucifixion. Yes, remember, 3 Passovers in the book of John. The third one is when he's crucified. So he doesn't get crucified and then stay for 2 more Passovers. He does stay for something like 40 days. The book of Luke and the Gospel of Acts tells us 40 days. Yeah. All right. Now on the first of unleavened bread, they add day. See, it's in italics. Yeah. Why don't I also Praetorium and clean italics, because I kind of talked about that. All right. There we go. Matthew. The first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover? Now, it's kind of strange because the first day of unleavened bread, on the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb was being sacrificed. And here, on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, remember, back here, this month will mark the beginning of months. Okay, we first speak to the entire sons of Israel. Here, Control F. 11. On the first day, you shall remove leaven from your houses. You got to remove all leaven. That's how to prepare it. Also, okay, so this day shall be to you a memorial. Remember, we already read that part, right? And you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it as a feast by an everlasting ordinance. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day, you shall remove leaven from your houses. So it seems, starting on the 14th day, you get you a lamb on the 10th day. Old Testament. Mark it really well. New Testament to make sure, I just had one little dash. Now I got, double dash Old Testament, double dash New Testament. Okay. When I see it and it looks different to me, it helps me out. So, by the way, when you see me looking over here, you see me reading, then you see me look at my camera. I mean, you see me look over, not at my camera. I'm looking over here. That's where my face is. So I'm looking right at looking right at my face. Makes it feel like I'm looking at you and talking to you. But there's the actual camera. But usually, and hey, in real life, one of the things I do when I'm talking to people, I hate looking at them in their eyes. No, man, I try so hard. I almost feel rude. I feel weird so often. Like when somebody's telling me something important, I'll kind of look off. And often I'll try and look right next to try to look like I'm looking in their eyes. One guy got really weird. BJ, are you paying attention? And I would explain to him several times, a coworker of mine, when I really am thinking, when I really am trying to pay attention, I often don't look at somebody in the eyes. That's just how it is. And there's several times I had to explain to him. I'm like, I want to look at you, but it's hard. It's, this is just what I do. So hey, looking at me over here feels good. Looking at you in the camera, I don't know. I'm not looking at anything but a black square with a blue glowing light. But here, I see my face at least. Back to the Bible study. Okay, you got yourself a break, took yourself a potty break, got yourself some water. Get you a snack, maybe. All right. First month Passover is in the first month. And later they call it Abib. Abib. Okay. 10th of the first month. Grab a lamb, baby. 14th of the month. The first month. Slaughter the lamb. Okay. Slaughter the lamb, okay? Now, we come back over to Matthew. Where do you want us to... Oh. First day of unleavened bread. Get rid of all the yeast in household. Okay. So I'm guessing whenever the disciples are like, where do you want us to go and prepare for you to eat the Passover? Now, they're supposed to get the lamb on the 10th day, but they're not really a family with a house. They were roaming. Roving is kind of like a nefarious, like a roving brand of brigands and criminals. Again, they're not roving. They're not criminal. They're roaming. They're roaming around. Peripatetic. What? Peri for like foot. Pathetic, I think, means walk. They walk everywhere. Peripatetic. I read somewhere Jesus was a peripatetic philosopher. I was like, what the? What a philosopher? What? A, he's not a philosopher, and B, peripatetic. Okay, sorry. A podiatrist helps you with your feet. Biped, 2 feet. Ped. But that's periped. I don't know. Petty. I'm sorry, guys. They roam around. Jesus and his 12 disciples and other people who followed him, his 12 apostles and other people who follow him around, they're walking around everywhere. Jesus' disciples go to him and go, hey, Jesus, we want to prepare for the Passover. Okay. They got to get bitter herbs. Where is it at? Okay. You got to get a lamb. If the household's too small for a lamb, you got to, you're going to consume it, of course. Your lamb must be a year old, either sheep or the goats. Slaughter, take some of his blood. You will consume the meat the same night. You got to roast it. Of course, they slaughter it and then they roast it. So first they need to get a lamb. Maybe they already had one. Maybe they've been walking around with a baby lamb, since the 10th day. They procured one. But they need to go have somewhere to eat, I guess. You need inside somewhere to sit down. You need somewhere to cook it. You need a pit to cook it on because what is it? Eating it roasted with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. So you need unleavened bread, you need bitter herbs. They might have that stuff, but you got to prepare like a meal. Like today, we're like fast food. You grab the food out of the window. Here, kids, eat this. Now, in the car, don't get the ketchup on the seat. They just eat a fast food. Today, you just walk into our house and I pop chicken nuggets in the microwave. But hey, I'm still have to get it ready. I have to get it out of the freezer, have to undo it. So hey, getting it, open the bag, put the nuggets on the plate, stick the nuggets in the microwave, wait for 3 minutes, turn the nuggets out. See, I still have to prepare it. Just a lot less preparation because they had live sheep and goats. They didn't have frozen stuff from the grocery store. They didn't know what a grocery store was. Anyway, they got to prepare for this feast. Prepare for the peripatetic, preparing for the festival. I'm sorry, the festival. All right. So yeah, if they want to do the doorpost thing with the blood, if they want to do that, which they did the first Passover, because the whole angel of death was coming over. When the angel saw the blood, he would pass over the house. Well, do they do that now still? If so, they would it'd be good to get themselves a bowl to get some blood in. It says use a hyssop branch. I guess that's like a branch of I guess you could take leaves and dip it and wipe blood. You could take a bunch of leaves on a branch and dip it in the thing and smear it, the blood. I mean, there was some stuff they needed to prepare, but also it seems, now this is extra biblical, outside of the Bible. This is from outside of the Bible, sources outside of the Bible, Jewish sources that they wrote stuff. They turned the Passover from a day where you eat some bitter herbs, you roast a lamb, you wipe some blood. They turned that into a huge, big ritual, a big old thing. They do all sorts of stuff, So this could be what the disciples come out, not just the herbs, not just the bread, not just get rid of the leaven, all sorts of stuff they can do. Oh yeah, they need to bake leavened bread first, right? So hey, look, where can we prepare for the Passover? But that's still the first day, okay? The first day is when they slaughter the lamb, it seems. Luke, called the Passover. Now, the first day the bread came on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. There we go. Luke 22:7, Luke 22:8. Jesus sent Peter and John saying, go and prepare the Passover first so we may eat it. All right. Jesus said to them, Luke 22, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. So now they're going to eat it. Remember, don't eat any of it until morning. All right. John. Now, before the feast of Passover, Jesus, knowing that his hour had come, that he would depart from this world to the Father, right? He's going to die. They want to eat the Passover, the bad guys. The bad guys, the religious leaders, the hypocrites. Okay. Now it was the day of the preparation for the Passover. It was about the 6th hour. And he said to the Jews, look, your king. So it was the day of preparation for the Passover. Full chapter. Book of John. So Pilate then took Jesus and had him flogged. The soldiers twisted him. Okay, if you're not sure, if you're like, BJ, I don't know the whole story because this is very basic Bible. Okay, real quick. Chapters 13 through 17 is Jesus teaching his disciples stuff. Fingers are cold. Like, is Jesus teaching his disciples stuff before the Feast of Passover. Okay. Chapter 13 through 17. Chapter 18 is whenever Jesus, they've left the Passover, they've left this room. They've left the place where Jesus is teaching them. They've 13 through 17, Jesus is teaching them stuff. They leave, chapter 18, the bad religious leaders get Jesus. They're going to crucify him. Okay. I mean, look, they bring him from Caiaphas to the Praetorium where Pilate is. Okay. However, you have a custom, I release one prisoner for you at Passover, says Pilate. Right? Pilate wants to release him. Okay. Let's see. Jesus before Pilate. And they brought Jesus from Caiaphas to the Praetorium. It was early. They themselves did not enter the Praetorium, so they wouldn't eat the Passover. Therefore, Pilate came out to them and said, what accusation are you bringing against this man? They answered and said to him, what did the religious leaders say to Pilate? If this man, Jesus, that's why they got the capital M. If this man were not a criminal, we would not have handed him over to you. So Pilate said to the Jews, take him yourselves and judge him according to your own law. The Jews said to Pilate, we're not permitted to put anyone to death. The Jews weren't allowed to do that. All right. They hand him over to Pilate, get him accused of some Roman crime. Pilate have to put him to death. Therefore, Pilate entered the Praetorium. So Pilate goes back in the Praetorium, summoned Jesus and said, you are the king of the Jews. Right? So they talk about stuff. Oh, look at this. After saying this, Pilate came out again to the Jews and said to them, I find no grounds at all for charges in his case. Okay? I don't find any grounds to kill him. You want me to kill him? He's not guilty. However, you have a custom, I release a prisoner for you at the Passover. Therefore, do you wish that I release for you the king of the Jews? So they shouted again, saying, not this man. Don't release Jesus, but release Barabbas. Now, Barabbas was a rebel. Barabbas is a bad guy. He's a criminal. They're like, no, don't release Jesus. Release Barabbas. (18, 19). Okay. So Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged because he didn't release him. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and placed it on his head and put a purple cloak on him. They repeatedly came up to him and said, "Hail, King of Jews," and slapped him in his face again and again. Man. Pilate came out again and said, "See, I am bringing Jesus out to you so you may find that I find no grounds of charge in his case." Pilate wants to release him. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're looking for Passover, right? Control F, pass over. Oh, look at this. If you release this man, you are not a friend of Caesar. Everyone who makes himself out to be a king opposes Caesar. Okay, all right. Yeah. So Pilate talks to Jesus. Pilate's like, I find no grounds of that he's not guilty. The Jews are like, he called himself a king. He's opposing Caesar. Therefore, when Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus out, set him down on the judgment seat at a place called the Pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabbatha. It was a day of preparation for the Passover. So this is the day of preparation for the Passover. It seems in the other books, Jesus says, go and prepare the Passover for us so we may eat it. Chapter 22. Where is a guest room which I may eat the Passover with my disciples? Chapter 22. So they're still preparing it. And hey, look, they left and found everything just as he had told them. They prepared the Passover. Chapter 22. Chapter 22. Jesus said to them, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. So they're eating the Passover. For indeed, okay. Where is it at? I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say to you, I shall not eat it again until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And when he had taken a cup and given thanks, he said, take this and share it among yourselves. I say to you, so they're eating the Passover. In the same way, he took a cup after they had eaten, saying this cup, which is, so he takes another cup. Oh, here's the bread. And when he had taken some bread and given thanks, he broke it and said to them, this is my body, which is being given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. An ordinance, remembrance, a memorial. Remember that from Exodus? Control F. Let's see if the word remembrance comes up. No, but instead it was memorial. Memorial. Now this day shall be a memorial to you. A memorial. Look, remembrance. This day will be a day of remembrance. You're to commemorate. This is the day you're to commemorate. Okay. So Jesus is saying, he's breaking bread and said, this is my body on the Passover. The day you're supposed to remember, this is my body, which is being given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Okay. So they're doing a Passover meal. Is this a Passover meal? Seems that way. But in John, now it was a day of preparation for the Passover. What's the day of preparation? To my knowledge, the day of preparation is, it's not explained in the Bible, but to my knowledge, what it is, a lot of people before a Sabbath day, before a holy day with a Sunday, I'm sorry, Friday, Saturday is a Sabbath. So they call Friday the preparation day. You get a bunch of work done. So Saturday you can rest. You cook all the food and stuff on Friday. You bring in all the cows and pin them up on Friday, and all the cattle, cows, I guess maybe the sheep and the goats and stuff mostly. You do all this work. If you hate, oh no, I need to be somewhere. My gosh, the heck! If you need to be somewhere, if you need to be somewhere on Sunday, well, you can't travel very far on Saturday. So what do you do on preparation day on Friday? Maybe you travel there. Okay. So you prepare on Friday. So you don't do any work Saturday. It's actually Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So yeah, prepare, I guess, Friday kind of during the day. We call it preparation day. They do the same thing for feast days because you're not supposed to do any work on feast days. Work. On the first day, remember Exodus 12, God describing the first Passover. On the first day, there shall be a holy convocation. Okay. And on a special day, a holy day. It might not necessarily coincide with Saturday, the Sabbath. It might every year. God might have done the calendar in such a way that every single time it does. I don't think so. I could be wrong. We're not really told here. On the seventh day, there shall be a holy convocation for you. No manner of work shall be done on them. Yes, that which everyone must eat, that only may be prepared by you. So on the Sabbath, you can prepare what people must eat, but nothing else. But now you gotta, where is it at? A day of preparation. Okay. Let's go Bible Gateway. Here's our friend, the Net Bible. Day of preparation. See how many times in NES? Yes, that's what I meant. What I say? Preparation. Preparation. 931. Oh, only in John. Okay. Only in John. Now, since it was a day of preparation to prevent the bodies from remaining on the cross on the Sabbath, for the Sabbath was a high day. The Sabbath was a high day. High holy days. I've heard that term. Okay. So, chapter 19, Pilate says, and Pilate said to them, look, your king. Still in chapter 19. This is right after Jesus died. Since it was a day of preparation to prevent the bodies from remaining on the cross on the Sabbath, the Jews requested of Pilate that their legs be broken and their bodies taken away. You don't want dead bodies hanging on the Sabbath day. You want to get the bodies down and prepare them for burial and bury them on the day of preparation, so you don't do it on the Sabbath day, the day of preparation. Therefore, because of the Jewish day of preparation, since the tomb was nearby, well, you can't go very far. The Sabbath is fixing to start. You need to hurry, right? The tomb was nearby. They laid Jesus in that tomb. They're like, hurry, we need to get ready because it's a Sabbath day. And not only a Sabbath, the Sabbath was a high day. I know I'm kind of going sporadically. We could read through all this. We could read through all this. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll do a Bible. I'll do that. Let's do, okay. Here's what we'll do. A Bible quick read. Do say 8 minutes at a time. We'll read through the Passover events of Jesus' life in all 4 Gospels. We can do Matthew, we can do Mark, we can do Luke, and we can do John, all 4. Like that? Like you like the little stuff? That way, we'll get the whole story. Because right now, I'm just bouncing around everywhere. I'm like, see, we're still in chapter 19. What does that matter? Sometimes things change in chapters. They do sometimes. So you're just having to trust BJ because he's not going through every little detail. Oh, the day of preparation. So let's write this on John. John. Oh, Jesus dies on day of preparation for Passover. So here, Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is called the Passover, Jesus dies on the day of preparation for the Passover. If we just read in the book of Luke, if they eat the Passover, which they did in the book of Luke, they were eating and Jesus said, this is my body for you and I'm eating this. How could Jesus die? If you're at the day of Passover, how could Jesus die on the day of preparation for the Passover? Pretty sure the answer is, okay, let's go back. Watch this. You know that after 2 days, the Passover is coming, the Son of Man in hand. Okay. Now, on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples asked, where do you want to prepare for you Passover? My time keeping the Passover, is it at? Reclining now at the Passover feast. Wait, Jesus ate the Passover. The Passover feast, the governor was accustomed to release one prisoner whom they wanted. So, Book of John got the Passover when they the preparation day of the Passover. They're accustomed to releasing one criminal. However, I have accustomed to release one prisoner for you at the Passover, but it was a day of preparation. John 18. John 19, it was a day of preparation for the Passover that Jesus gets killed. In Matthew, now at the Passover feast, the governor was accustomed to release for the people any one prisoner whom they wanted. It seems John is saying it happened on the day of preparation. Matthew is saying it happened on the Passover or during the Passover feast. The Passover feast. Now remember, the first day there shall be a holy convocation. On the seventh day there shall be a holy. The Passover lasts, to my knowledge, 2 weeks. Not the Passover. There's the Passover meal. The first day of unleavened bread, they call the Passover. The meal they call the Passover. Sometimes you might call the Passover the whole 2 weeks. The whole 2 weeks is unleavened bread. At least 1 week here. On the first day and on the seventh day, at least 1 week. Ten today, 14 today, first day of unleavened bread. Okay. Holy convocation on first day and on seventh day. No unleavened bread for 7 days. Maybe the whole week is called the Passover. So whenever John is saying the preparation for the Passover, he's talking about, okay, Matthew, they have the Passover, and Mark and Luke. Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Jesus eats the Passover. Then that night, let's see. Okay. Just by memory. Jesus eats the Passover. That night they got to Gethsemane. Overnight, they get taken and beaten down. Jesus gets taken. The disciples run away. Jesus gets beaten up and stuff. Then the next day, Jesus dies. So on the first day of the feast, they eat the Passover, it seems. It seems they eat the Passover. Then this would be the second day. No work to be done. It's still the festival of unleavened bread at the Passover feast. He calls it the Passover feast. But they've already eaten the Passover, and this is the next day. Unleavened bread for 14 days. They call the whole thing the Passover feast. Let's see. Now, at the Passover feast, he released for them any one prisoner there. So in Mark, the same thing, okay? He released for them any one prisoner whom they requested. Okay, so they prepared the Passover in Mark 14, the Lord's Supper. Last Passover, on the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lamb was being sacrificed, his disciples said to him, where he wants to go prepare for you to eat the Passover. All right. They prepared the Passover. When it was evening, he came with the 12. As they were reclining at the table and eating, Jesus said, truly, I say, one of you betray me. Oh, down here. While they were eating, he took some bread. After blessing it, broke it, gave it, and said, take it. This is my body. When you take the cup. So you remember that from the book of Luke. So they're doing the stuff for the Passover. They're doing their meal. After singing, they went out to the Mount of Olives. They went out to the Mount of Olives. After singing a hymn, they got to the Mount of Olives. Jesus gets betrayal and arrested. Jesus gets betrayed that night. So they've already eaten the Passover, first day of the Passover. Then, okay, Jesus before his accusers. So this is overnight. Peter denied him. A rooster crowed. When does the rooster crow? Morning time. It's the next day they bring him to Pilate. And the next day, Pilate, it said, now at the Passover feast, Pilate used to release for them any one prisoner whom they requested. Okay, so John calls one of them. John says Jesus died on the preparation for the Passover. So that's a little confusing. Is that the Passover that you eat, that you prepare, you get bitter herbs and all that stuff? Seems like it couldn't be that. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they've already eaten that. Okay, but they got a preparation for the Passover, a day of preparation where they get rid of everything. See, it's a little confusing. Not entirely sure. I have heard atheist scholars be like, and some atheist scholars be like, well, see, the Bible is a little contradictory because John was writing at a different time in a different place than Matthew, Mark, and Luke were writing. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they had the same sources. They talked to some of the same people. They had some, maybe they found some historical writings, you know. Maybe Mark wrote his stuff and then Luke got a hold of what Mark wrote and kind of copied. I mean, why not? That's fine. God can give us his, how else is God going to give us his message? He gives it to us through people, right? People write his message down. We read it in the Bible. Okay. Luke gets it through people. He writes it, so they got the same kind of sources. But over here at John, people say, oh, John had different sources. The historians, mostly atheists, but some Christians will say John had different sources. John talked to different people who remembered it differently. They're being told something different. That makes it sound like Matthew, Mark, and Luke said one thing. John said a different thing. Makes it sound that way. To me, what I say is, it's the whole thing is confusing. Now at the Passover feast, they already ate the feast. I thought it was the Feast of Unleavened Bread, And John, where is it at? Now, where is it at? Control F. What? Oh, John somewhere talks about Control F. Hi. Next. High priest, not just any old priest, the high priest, the main priest, okay? Oh, okay. So we need to go to chapter 19. Full chapter. For that Sabbath was a high day. Don't let the bodies stay on the cross that Sabbath. For that Sabbath was a high day. Sometimes they call Sabbath Sunday or Saturday. Sometimes they call Sabbath Saturday, every seventh day. Sometimes God will say, This day will be a Sabbath day to you. You are to rest. He's not necessarily talking about Sunday. In the Old Testament, sometimes it says that. So we got Sabbath days. Then we got some days that are, this will be a Sabbath day. Don't work on that day. Now we got, for that Sabbath was a high day. Which I mean, it's a little confusing. Like what is it? I could look into the historical sources, but in the Bible, John's confusing me a little bit. I kind of assume, kind of what I think is going on is Jesus and his disciples ate the Passover, maybe on the day, maybe a day before, maybe on the day. Then Jesus gets crucified on the Passover. But Matthew, Mark, and Luke don't say the day before. It seems to be like on the Sabbath, on that day. But then maybe there's a Saturday, a Sabbath day during the Passover festival. So if the Passover does not start on Saturday, let's say it starts on, let's say the Passover starts on Friday. Okay. Well, then you got a feast. You kill the Passover, Jesus and them Thursday. Jesus and them kill it. They eat it. They do the Last Supper. Then he gets taken. He gets taken on Friday. Okay. That's the day of preparation for the Passover. Well, they're doing the Passover feast. See how confusing this can get? I'm not sure. It's during the Passover feast. They've already eaten the Passover, but they probably do stuff every day of the feast to celebrate the Passover. So maybe each night they eat a Passover lamb. Like I said, they already added stuff. Earlier, we talked about that. They've already added all sorts of stuff to the law and such, so it could be confusing. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and stop share. Okay. All I've done probably, I said, hey, I want to find out when the feast is. All we've really done is talked about the feast mostly in the New Testament. That's fine. Very basic Bible. I tend to hardly ever talk about the New Testament. So, it's good. It's good we got into the New Testament. But then we got ourselves confused at the very end. When is the Sabbath? When is the high day? When is the Passover? When did Jesus die? Do we have to know everything? Does God expect us to know everything in order for salvation and for his love to be on us? No. Goodness. Come on, people. We can live a holy life for God and bring the kingdom of God to people. We can go and evangelize. We can disciple people. We can feed the poor, clothe the hungry, feed the hungry, clothe the poor. Yeah, we can pray to God. We can love God. God loves us. God cares for us, takes care of us. Even if we could do all of that and be ignorant of this fact. When exactly did Jesus die? That's fine. We hear somebody being like, well, in one place it says Jesus died here, but in this other place it says Jesus died there, so it's all wrong. We hear all that. Do we have to know the answer? No. Do we have to freak out and go, oh no, our Bible might be wrong? No. It's confused. It's kind of confusing. It's fine to be confused. God said, God is not the God of confusion. So if you're confused, he still loves you. He's not confused. Okay. Rest in his love. Too many people. This is a very basic Bible. Here's a very basic Bible thing. Here's a very basic Bible point. Too many people think the Bible is hard to understand. Therefore, oh no, it's hard to understand. And oh no, I can't understand. I can't read it. No, I tried reading it. It's so, I can never read it. No. If it's hard to understand, keep reading it anyway. What's easy to understand? That God loves us. Man. Yes. Okay. If you say, I don't know why this doesn't make sense, that's okay. It's okay. You're getting revelation from God and he loves us. And you can love him still. All right, guys. We'll see y'all on the next very basic Bible with all the love from God that he possesses. He gives us. Yeah.